Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I just wanted to introduce everyone here to this new era of building databases, right? So this is not really deep dive. It's more of a through the plane kind of talk. Okay, so the future of databases, right? Uh, I am Devdutt, and I work at this company called Parsable, where we are building an open source database for doing logging, right? History of databases, I just like to go through them. We started with network data model, IDS, went to hierarchical data model, which is very popular now, even now, with IBM's IMS database. Then we had like relational model, which I guess everyone's most familiar with. It started with OLTP databases, which are row-based. The examples of this would be like Postgres, uh, MySQL, etc. We also had a stage where we had in-memory databases, caches, right? Then we went into like NoSQL world with databases like MongoDB, GraphQL, whatever, right? All those databases that are for unstructured data. Then we jumped into a world of relational but column-based databases. These are like great for doing data warehouse kind of tasks, like storing a lot of data and doing like analytical tasks on it. So that's why OLAP. It's also, it happens to be great for doing like using with an SSD, because you are storing data and reading it afterwards. You're not updating that data a lot, right? So OLAP use cases is basically store once, read multiple times kind of data, which is great for SSDs, by the way, because unlike HDDs, SSDs have a lifetime that is defined by how many times you update a value, right? So yeah, data warehousing as a concept came up, wherein you have multiple storage engines which worked with different storage layers like HDDs, in-memory, SSDs, flash basically, and object storage, right? So nowadays, I guess anyone who's worked with the cloud setup knows that storing data in SSD form is a bit more expensive as you increase the scale of data in comparison to storing it in something like S3, right? S3 object storage is basically cheap, very cheap in comparison to SSDs or like mounted storage. Then we had the whole world of distributed databases with consensus algorithms like Raft or Paxos, Paxos being more earlier. And we also now have the craze with Gen AI and vector databases enabling all of that, right? Uh, in this talk, here what I'm introducing is restricted to data warehousing and relational column-based databases, right? With these projects. So earlier what you used to do was you used to write your own data engines, you used to write your own data formats, all of that, right? But with but with this stack, which is known as FDAP, right? There is Flight, Apache Data Arrow Flight, Apache Arrow Datafusion, Apache Arrow, and Parquet, right? So what are these, right? So I'm just here to introduce you to these concepts and tell you that you don't have to do all of this again, right? You don't have to reinvent the wheel when you're implementing a database, right? Why? Why is that? Because Datafusion has become the LLVM of databases, right? You don't have to write your own logic like optimizers. You don't have to write your own SQL parser, all of that. Datafusion takes care of that. You just provide it SQL. It does the planning, it does the data aggregation, and does the querying, right? It uses Arrow inside itself. So it supports multiple data sources, as in you can store data on disk, you can store data in memory, you can store data as CSV files, you can store data as Parquet files. So Datafusion does quite a lot when it comes to being the intermediary that is arranging data and doing the querying. Arrow is an in-memory data format which enables all of the crazy stuff that Datafusion does. It is columnar in nature, which means that you can easily keep data and like do computation using like constructs like SIMD, right? So you have just provide one instruction and multiple database. Yeah. So it also ensures that you don't have to serialize and deserialize, just move data around. Parquet is providing that layer underneath, which allows you to compress that arrow format and put it into this. So now that you have heard of all of this, you can go ahead and build your own database for your own applications, right? And Parsable is doing the same with by using all of this to analyze logs. So that was my small introduction for you all to this world. Please go ahead and learn more about this. I think with that, I'll end my talk. Thank you.